Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. You're listening to Java with Jimmy.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, November 3rd, 2022, and it is Thankful Thursday. Listen, we are in the room this morning. I'm going to go in and say hello. Right before the show, I had an opportunity to speak to a young man that for a couple of years, we've been talking about having him come in and give a real perspective about what's going on in the streets. We were just talking and he said, tell him you got a gangbanger coming on that knows, and he's very honest and transparent. And so we are trying to work out technical to get him on. And so at any moment he may pop in, we may have to pull it through Facebook Messenger because it is important that whatever we're doing in this work, be guided by those that are most impacted. And as our Congresswoman says, those that are closest to the pain should be closest, and it may not be verbatim, but closest to the power and when decisions and programming is being made. And so hopefully we can get him in. I'm going to keep looking at my phone to make sure that he gets the link, or if he reaches out and says, need some tech assistance or whatever. But hopefully Brother Bonds can make it in. I've mentioned him before and talked about him. And so hopefully we can get him in this morning. But let's go in the cafe and see who's in. Good morning to Mama Java. Good morning to Auntie Paula. Good morning to Heidi. Good to see you in the room. Pastor Marion, good morning. My sister Nikki, good to see you in the room. Nicole, good morning to you. We mentioned you the other day on your Healthy Java about following up with your mammogram and stuff. So good to see you in the room. Keep us abreast. Sister Debbie, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Facebook user, Lord Jesus. This may be Danny or someone else, but good morning to whomever you are, Facebook user. Sister T, Miss Teresa, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Also, Sister Soraya, good to see you this morning. And also, I think I got everybody. Kathy, good morning. Good to see you in the room. And oh my goodness, how could I forget? Sharon Cornelius, good morning. Thaddeus, Uncle, good morning. Good to see you in the room. And so it is Thankful Thursday. Hopefully we can get this brother in. But if not, we'll rearrange a time for him to come in. But So Tashad, good morning. Boston Wild Black is in the building. Stacy, good morning. Good to see you in the room. And so how we even got on this subject, as we know, there's a lot going on, an increase in incidents of violence in our community. And as you all know, I'm a member of the Black Men and Boys Commission. And last night we had the privilege of talking with three chiefs: Chief of Housing, Chief of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion, and also the Chief of Equity, the Equity Cabinet. And so they came last night. And they talked about, what the office is doing, what the mayor's office is doing, the administration is doing, just in general. And then I asked some questions specifically in the vein of Black men, single fathers, when it comes to homelessness and housing. And then we also talked about economic inclusion and how taking some radical approaches through the Office of Economic Inclusion and Opportunity and giving some young people some lucrative jobs, like a career, getting them in training and different things. And so that was part of the conversation. And so often as I do, I check in with different people just around perspective and see what's going on. I came home and seen a post by this brother, and I was like, it let me know that the line of questioning that I was asking was in sync with what this brother who's in it feels that they need. And so that's how we sort of got on this conversation. I inboxed him yesterday and was like, hey, we definitely need to set up this time to talk. And so we talked a little bit this morning. Hopefully we can get him in, but if not, I can definitely share the post on the page and let you all know where it came from. It is Thankful Thursday, so let's practice some thankfulness. I'm thankful for all of you this morning. I'm also thankful for our village. Last night, I went by a memorial for Jasmine, otherwise known as Snow, and just to see the village come together and support these young people. That is, I'll get to that point. And saw young people come together. I saw adults comforting young people. It was just the reason that we were there, of course, is horrible, but the village came together and loved on. And so I'm thankful for the village. Often, you know, I've said that the village is broken, and it is in certain places, and we need to shore it up. But last night I saw a demonstration of the village coming together to support this family. So I'm thankful for that this morning. To Thaddeus's point, you all, there's a lot of people doing a lot of talking, but also we have to meet and we have to be strategic. I'm not for anything just popping out, making an announcement, doing anything to just, and I used to be part of that crowd. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Y'all ain't doing nothing. And the thing that is often true, and I started saying this a couple of years ago, and I said this even to a counselor last night, like, I am not aware, or I do not have the information around what folks are doing. So we do have to, we didn't get here overnight, and we're not going to get out of it overnight. And so, you know, I can only be I know, Thaddeus, but you just messing, and this is what me and Thaddeus does. But there's some truth to, even if you wasn't messing, to the community, there is a perception that there's not enough being done. And so, Uncle, that's real. I know you messing, but there's some people out there that really share a sentiment like that, really, and are concerned because they're not aware. And yes, you know, all meetings aren't public and everything that everybody's doing isn't public. But I will say that there is a sentiment in the air of just not just doing things as usual. Even in the meeting last night, there was a different cadence of accountability, a different cadence of interconnectivity around getting things done and not duplication of services. And also, we challenged all three of those. And this was on, it's a public meeting, so it was live. So I'm not divulging anything that, you know, shouldn't be out there. Not duplicating services. And we've asked them to, you know, we're a new commission. And so some things that they look at, they don't look at race and gender. I was asking questions about how many Black men took advantage of the home ownership program. Can we get those numbers? And so there is a sentiment, a feeling that things are coming together, but there's also this sense of urgency and what seems like a lack of emergent or urgent response. We don't want to react. We've done that. We want to respond and be proactive and think about sustainable change in our community. And and the interesting thing is, while there are people in positions, you know, to do this full time, often have this community voice at the table, those folks, a lot of them work other jobs. And so it's a passion place for a lot of people. And so it's taken a lot. It's taken longer than all of us want, but there are some things that are being discussed and drafted and hopefully put into place that are sustainable. But it's mixed with also this urgency, because every day that we wait, there could potentially be somebody else that has an incident of violence. So let me just check and see if this brother responded. Nothing yet. So at some point, hopefully we'll get him in. But let's practice some thankfulness this morning. We did that last night, Thaddeus. The Office of Black Male Advancement, per the ordinance, had to submit a quarterly report. And so that report was submitted. I don't know where it's going to be placed public. It may be on the website. I'll get some information about that. But we did just, we actually just released a quarterly report last night. Now the commission, and let me explain this. The Office of Black Male Advancement is the administrative arm with the administration for the commission. And so the BMA did some things. The commission, technically, we just had our third meeting last night. Remember, July and August, I believe, were the listening sessions. September, October, November. We just had our third meeting last night. We just solidified the subcommittees. And so we're ready to get to work. We're ready to get to work around policy. If I'll try to figure out or ask where the link is, I don't know if they just show the meeting or they save it and then, like, you know, you can go watch it at a later date. I'll try to find that out so folks can go check it out. But let's go in and check in and see who we missed this morning. I got Sharon. RCC is about to have a 50-year celebration. Congratulations to Interim President Jackie Jenkins Scott and the staff over there. Who else? Isaiah, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Thaddeus, we covered the quarterly report release. Kelly, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Good morning. Kathy said, I want you and the commission to attend restorative justice run by returning citizen. Send the information over to the commission. I don't know if the whole commission can come, but Kathy, send the information over to, I'll try to inbox you the address for the Black Male Advancement. I don't have their email address off the top of my head. Props, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Who else? Tara, good morning. Good to see you in the room. I was talking about you this week, about the work you do in the trauma space. Good to see you in the room. Charlotte, good morning. Good to see you in the room as well. Donald is practicing thankfulness. Thankful for another chance to be a better person than I was yesterday. Thanking the creator for a new day. Absolutely. Yeah, Thaddeus says it hasn't even been a full year. We just got commissioned in June. And so it's just been not even a good 6 months. But there's an urgency because Black men tend to be the #1 participants in these issues of violence, but also root causes, homelessness. And this isn't confined just to Black men, but homelessness, poverty, joblessness. And so that's also another reason, folks, just to remind you, if you know some folks that are looking for a job, please make sure they're aware of this event on next Thursday. You're invited. Let's bring Roxbury's talent into the job pipeline in 3 sectors: biotech and life sciences, healthcare, and green and blue tech jobs. Pastor Willie was on yesterday talking about that event. If you're watching on your computer, take your phone out, do the QR code. I think I still have the link somewhere in here. Oh no, that's fair share. The information is on the flyer here, but in all seriousness, get folks out to that job fair because jobs is a huge part. Thaddeus mentioned yesterday that there are 1,000 jobs available at BMC. There's a shortage of staff. And so they're looking at different ways to train people, get them into these different type of jobs. And we know that having employment is a huge indicator of an improved quality of life. So Props is saying Boston's been having the same violence conversation since the beginning of Start Peace and even before that. Aaron, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Aaron. All right. Kathy, there is the email address. Email the BMA at boston.gov and get them the information about the meeting, or they may ask you to come and present. I'm not sure. Can't speak on behalf of the whole commission. Mike, my brother, good to see you in the room. Good to see you in the room, sir. I need to come in your room. I just need to figure out when to get there and go on the site and book. But good to see you in the room, man. One of our healing brothers that's in the room. Good to see you along with others. Aaron, seeing you in the room, I also want to provide this update. As you all know, a couple of months ago, there was a lot of conversation about Boston Carnival. And we had the Carnival Association on, and they committed to updating the community about the application process by November 1st. Now, Kenya Beeman reached out, and we played phone tag with me talking with Ms. Shillingford. And so they're going to update me as soon as I can get a time scheduled. They'll come on and update. But that process is moving. from what I understood from Kenya, a little bit slower than what they would like, but they have proactively reached out to give an update that it is moving. But the date, I guess, of getting the application out there is going to be pushed back just a little bit. So, Aaron, seeing you made me think about that. Shout out for everything you do in general. Shout out to the husband, AJ, as well, for the great stuff that you all are doing. Man, yo, Mike, I'm definitely going to hit you up. But no, I can come to you, man. You're down the street. You don't got to bring all that stuff. Aaron said, oh, I was waiting. I'm still going to apply. Was talking to Miss Shillingford last night about it. And I talked to her the night before. And we're going to set up the meeting, but Kenya, you know, she's going to handle all the email and all that other stuff. So Aaron, thanks for prompting that update. Pastor Marion, going back to the job situation, everybody is hiring. There is a lot of job availability, and I'm not exactly sure what it's going to take. Let me just check and see if Bonds got back. Oh crap. He's saying it's not let him click on. All right. So what I'm going to have to do is try to probably go get with this brother face to face and have this conversation with him face to face. He's not able to click on the link. Phones aren't the best for this platform. So we'll figure it out. And he always says in God's timing. But let me read his post to you guys. Just so you have an idea of what prompted me to for him and I to talk again this morning. So what he said was they want the violence to stop in our community when there is no housing, no programs, no jobs, unless it's a construction worker. For gangbangers or black men, period. Half of us have weed charges from back in the day, so housing wasn't even an option. Now weed is legal. Where does a gangbanger go if he decides he wants to stop? Watch, nobody can answer that. It will never stop until we can answer that question. Where do we go? Nobody want to hear the truth because it's too hurtful. So, and this is from somebody that trust and believe, knows in it, is a dad and doing, you know, some wonderful things, but he knows. And so when I saw that post, I'm like, the line, because I was careful last night to not, know all of the folks that are the chiefs and didn't want to present at them sort of manner. But the questions that were asked last night to come in and see this young man that I trust his credibility and life experience was like, okay, we're on the right path. And so it's to Thaddeus's point, sometimes it seems slow, but it I wish I had all the answers, but I don't. Mike is saying we need him whole. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, Kathy, Mike, listen, this is a good brother. Let me catch up. Prop has some commentary as well. Teresa saying have him copy the link and paste it. He's not on he's on his phone, and StreamYard just it's not the best for the phone. So I am keeping up just to see if he responds or says something else. All right. Let's go in and see if there's some feedback about that. Prop said, what I'm keep hearing, Bostonians are isolated. No one has thought to mirror a successful system for another city. Actually, Props, that is something that's being looked into. I actually got a referral from someone to look at a model in another city. But the thing that, and we talked about this before, Thaddeus was saying that when he travels, it's a national issue. It's not just Boston. I was in Baltimore last week, and outside of them saying the different parts of Baltimore, watching the news was just the same. So, but there are some cities that may have some models of different things to address the root causes. One of the things we brought up last night to the chiefs were when it came to housing and Black home ownership and homelessness and working with Black men around homelessness. What are other cities doing? So that sort of approach or model is in action, but I don't know how many models out there have that success. But the city to city, they can actually get that information and check in. Teresa is saying what Bond said is 100% correct. Hold on here. Let me just make sure. All right. So we weren't able to make that happen this morning. Thaddeus, I'm thinking about you because these headphones that we talked about in 2020, they're done. They keep shorting, so I got to get some more. All right, folks, come on. Let's practice some thankfulness before we get ready to wrap up in a few minutes. I don't have many announcements. Pastor Marion said he needs to be on that committee with you and the other brothers. Pastor Marion, ever since I was in Menino's office, and I don't say this disrespectfully to anybody, but I've often said that if we really want change, and at that time, the Eagle Room is like the meeting where the mayor has, the press conferences and big rooms. So I would often say, we need to bring in the weed reeking, gun toting, probably hit a gun outside the hall on the way down, on the way upstairs at the table for years. And I say that just as an example of folks that need to be informing this. And so please trust and believe folks like him and a couple of others. I get on the phone and I'm like, listen, this is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts? Very intentional. And Pastor Marion, that's a whole nother Zoom in itself. Yes, Heidi, I agree with you and Mike. I need to make my health. I am making my health a priority. Teresa, it doesn't, it trust me. I'm dealing with this thing for 2 years. There's no mass and cast in the A. Maybe not in Midtown, but yes, we do need employment. Lots of efforts don't include people with lived experience. Heidi is saying, props, McFly, maybe not, but I'm sure there's a drug issue. Absolutely. To my point, maybe not mass and cast, as we see it here in Boston, but I'm sure ATO has every city that I've been in, I found myself saying, oh, there's mass and cast. Pastor Nikki is saying Pastor Nikki. Nikki is saying, thankful for you this morning. I'm thankful for you as well. Pastor Marion presumably is saying that Bonds was spot on with what he was saying. Props is saying true. Folks who live in the foxholes and not inclusive. But it is is it mass cast out of hand? Mass and cast is definitely out of hand. Mike is saying in the A, look under the overpasses. That's mass and cast. And I think it was it LA? It was somewhere where one of the governors went in and did what the city did here and cleared out the underpasses. I think it was out in LA though. I don't think that was Atlanta. Kathy is saying, still remember going to meeting after meeting talking about violence prevention, but they never showed up where I worked with youth who had taken a life. Those youth were the experts in what could be done. Perfectly agree. And this is why anything that we're doing, in this space has to be community led and has to have the voices of those most impacted leading. And folks need to figure out a way to compensate them. They're consultants. And so that needs to be, we're talking radical approaches to violence. How can you give a brother gift card, cash, maybe not cash, government entity? I don't know if they go through another nonprofit, but they need to be compensated for their time as well. So not only voice at the table, but appreciated and valued just like you would give any other consultant that's consulting around any other policy. Not going to get too far off there. Heidi is saying, props, McFly, mass and cast is a whole lot of things, totally out of control. Dina is saying, we accept a lot that we should not. I don't have the answers either, but I know meth sale is illegal, so why do we allow it on mass and cast? That's the law enforcement perspective around this issue. A lot of people have brought up the fact that we can be comprehensive and also enforce the law and keep people safe, because unfortunately we know that there's so much use down there because there's access to meth and other drugs. Props, y'all aren't hearing yourselves under several overpasses scattered or a subdivision of the city. So it has pockets. The point is, both cities have issues. And when we talk about other city models, probably San Francisco might be, maybe, I'm not sure, but they may probably have what I would presume, and this isn't my wheelhouse, a model of them trying to address their mass and cast issue there, because it's definitely more concentrated and figure it there. I was going to offer him the phone, but I know he won't want to just be on the phone. And I can't take this right now. But just got distracted a little bit. Whatever the density that mass and cast has one concentrated area, or if in the A there's a few overpasses, it's still an issue where you got people dealing with substance use who are homeless. And I don't know if under the underpasses in the A they have encampments, but Boston has had almost its own little mini city. All right, let's get back in the comments. I walked into Upham's Corner commuter rail station on Tuesday, and to someone who had OD down by New Market Square. Listen, terrible. There's a lot of stories around that where people are just out on the street ODing and different people are stopping. People are running into traffic. Crazy. James, contact those brothers on the committee and challenge them to bring that young man to. Listen, these folks, there's Pastor Marion. That's a whole, like I said, that's a whole nother Zoom. But trust me, his voice, people on a couple of those meetings are in contact and know. All right, we got that. Drugs are a national problem. Absolutely. And until we sit as United Nation, we're going to continue to have the separate issues, and not even the nation first, locally, regionally, then nationally. You're right, but there's some building. There's some building. Excuse me. There's some building that needs to be done locally. Can't bring together the national. And this is in every model. Can't come together nationally, and we can't come together from hood to hood, program to program, elected to elected. Let me park there for a minute. Redistricting. The unity map got over the line, but the process in which it took to get there, and some of the behavior and commentary of a good portion of the council that's lighter than me is very telling of old Boston and of a reaction to a perception that power is just seeping through their hands. And it is. So I just had to throw that in there when I said elected to elected. Sorry about that. All right, folks, we're getting ready to wrap this up in a few minutes. And my point, coming together locally to address the issue, nationally, yes, but demonstration of which drug, where, the impact, our local issues. Nationally, addressing drug policy, but that's done through legislation, which goes through the different representatives and congressmen and whatnot. So there's the community national, there's the policy national, but it does start, the advocacy does start on the local level. Pastor Marion, and if you all agree to bring him to the table, let him know he has to come. Oh, please. I'm sorry, Pastor Marion. He definitely got solution for years. And don't get me started. They did bring him to the table before, and it wasn't no follow through. So anyway, I don't want to be all discombobulated. Today is my Friday, you all. We might come on tomorrow at 9. Some of the folks involved in redistricting, we may have them on at 9 o'clock just to talk about the impact and what happened. And so you'll find out tomorrow morning. But as of right now, I don't plan to be back until Monday. Shout out to Stasia's Cultural Center. They were nominated for the Boston Praise Award. Shout out to them and Lord Jesus, Sophia over there for getting it done with these young people. They were a part of the Gospel Fest. And so shout out to those young people and her as well. Teresa Minus, the powers that be have to really want change and be able to institute it. And Pastor Marion, to Thaddeus' point, though messing, let's stop all the talk, please, in action. Some talk. Now, we need some talk. And this is something that is, the balance of this is so interesting. You got to meet, you got to correspond to put plans and stuff into place. You have to. But to get into that feeling, the meeting about a meeting, because I was involved in one and it almost started getting that feeling. And I was like, let's redirect. Let's come back and stay focused. And so thank you for all of that as far as pushing this brother to be at the table. But trust me, his voice and him, Pastor Marion, I hear you. And trust me, there have been a few people that I've been trying to push that you need to talk. And there have been, I gotta admit, some of the encouragement to have some direct conversations with some people, couple have happened from city leadership. So I gotta be balanced and say a couple of direct on the ground conversations have actually happened. That's one thing where I'm like, look, I can convey, but here's a phone number and you need to talk to them directly because nobody can tell it like them. So we're going to get ready to wrap up. Pastor Marion, the plan is to have something community-led and sustainable coming together to allow the community first to grieve because we haven't been together in communal spaces. And as an organizer and meeting facilitator, I don't care how much you plan a meeting, and we're just going to give 15 minutes for the issues. The group really acknowledged the fact that we need to hold space just for people to grieve and get it out. And so I've talked to even Thaddeus about a couple of things. And so where the plan is to make things community-led, in love, support. I actually just got a phone call from somebody that we're trying to take some next steps. I'm pushing for folks, come face-to-face, make decisions, set dates, and let's get moving. Strategically, not rushing, responding, but again, mixing that urgency with being strategic and doing things for sustainability is hard. So that's the plan, Pastor Marion. That's the frustration. Props. Leaving in my corny laughter. I ain't messing with you, Teresa. People in ties are talking. People in ties are talking to community. Talking to the community. People in ties are talking. I think yes, people are talking to the community. Oh God, here's Teresa. Give us your joke for the day. How do flowers kiss? And then we're wrapping up after this. Teresa, how do flowers kiss? Please give us the answer. Come on, Miss Teresa. It's 9:37. I got to get off of here. All right, we'll get the punchline probably at another date. Don't forget next Thursday, guys. Get this word out about this job fair. I was sitting with somebody last night in the meeting, and they were talking about it, how there's a lot of support behind this and a lot of action in getting people into these positions. So please don't forget to share this information with folks. Did we get the punchline? How do flowers kiss? With their two lips, get it to. Y'all get Miss Teresa. That was probably from the double E's. How effective are tie wearers to those shooters, James? Oh no, these aren't tie wearers. They will if they need to, but Lasagna gave the benediction. Have a good day. Good, Lasagna, did I see you in the room earlier? Good morning. Good to see you in the room. Oh God. All right. What did the Scarecrow say when he won an award, I presume, because he was outstanding? I'm not messing with y'all. Post the flyer on your page so I can share it, please. All right, we got you, Dina. All right, folks, that's it for me today. We may be back tomorrow at 9. One of the ways that you can be sure to tune in is when you are given the option to be notified when Java with Jimmy goes live. Click that button to say yes. And every time we go live, you should get a notification. All right. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Please keep Charmaine and Jasmine's family in prayer. Keep Lisa in prayer, a member of the Java fam here, heavily impacted, serving. Naraki as well has been a support to Charmaine as well. Please keep them in your prayers and covered this weekend. The service is on Saturday. I am attending. I told Charmaine and Lisa I would be in place. And so I'm actually going to go at the service and serve and support our young people in community. So please keep them in prayer. Also, everyone, please keep Thaddeus's mom in prayer. I told him I would share. She just had a health incident and is doing better, but just keep her in prayer as well. Thaddeus and her in prayer as well. And I think that is it. Teresa, thank you. Dina, thank you. I am going to go eat and finish this coffee and figure out what I'm going to eat. I will see you guys maybe tomorrow morning, but definitely Monday morning at 9 a.m. And don't forget, November 16th, plan to watch. All right, y'all. Have a good day. Peace.